First of all, my personal welcome to the delegation from Jammu Kashmir National Liberation Front on their visit to England and particularly Nottingham. And may I pay my respects to the martyrdom of your father, whose sacrifice we meet here to celebrate the martyrdom that took place on the 11th of February 1984. It's not my first time that I've had the honour to speak at a rally for the cause of self-determination for Kashmir. But it's my continuing regret that the audience today is once again limited to members of the Kashmiri community, and that we are still unable to spread the word further and wider into the indigenous community, because only by the man in the street and the woman in the street knowing of the Kashmiri cause will we successfully transform this from a minority issue into an international crusade against human rights abuses. As Mohammed Ibrahim, who was Lord Mayor, said earlier, I had the opportunity to visit Kashmir, and in particular the refugee camps around Muzaffarabad some years ago. And we saw with our own eyes, we spoke and we listened to the horrific stories of abuses caused particularly by the border security forces over the border in Indian-occupied Kashmir. If you didn't believe the stories you could see with your own eyes, the wounds, the scars, the mutilation which the people carried with them over the border, who had fled in their hundreds and thousands to safety in free Kashmir. And the one thing that stuck in your mind quite clearly is the determination of those people to return to free Kashmir for all of Kashmir one day. Now, there are many people here who know better than I the current situation in Kashmir. So I wanted to limit my contribution to what I believe we can do to maximise support amongst the majority community, and in particular to pressurise the UK government to present the cause of Kashmir as an issue of self-determination in very much the same way as issues of self-determination in Vietnam or in South Africa have been taken on board. I've often said we will only know that the issue of liberation in Kashmir is being taken seriously when you see white liberals wearing t-shirts saying free Kashmir as they wore t-shirts saying free South Africa. Only then will you know that the issue is being taken seriously. So what can we do, every single one of us here? And why is your visit this month so timely? And I will make two suggestions about what every single person in the audience here could do to raise this issue still further. Firstly, we have a general election coming in the United Kingdom. And every single one of us here should write to all the candidates, whether it's in Nottingham seats, or whether you live in Broxtowe, or Rushcliffe, or Gedling, or Bradford, or Halifax, or anywhere else. You should write to every candidate standing in the general election in your constituency and ask them what their position is on Kashmir and what they will be doing if their party is elected to power to make sure that Britain honours its outstanding commitment as the colonial power to bring a settlement to the one unsettled part of the Indian subcontinent, the only princely state after independence where the majority of people have had not their wish given. Every single one of us can do that. And secondly, we can use the fact that 1997 is the 50th anniversary of the first of the United Nations resolutions on Kashmir. And when I visited the refugee camps in Kashmir, somebody gave me this book, Kashmir, Cry Freedom. and it's a documentary account of newspaper articles from all over the world about the issue of Kashmir. And there is one that I just looked at this morning before I came. It's entitled, "Kashmir is a Moral Issue." And it was printed in the Telegraph newspaper, not the Telegraph of London, but the Telegraph of Calcutta in India. And the Telegraph in Calcutta is so right. Kashmir is a moral issue which should be raised to popular consciousness on this 50th anniversary of the United Nations resolutions. And we should put pressure, not just on Islamic states, but on all member states through mass public opinion, to make sure that Indian public opinion and United Nations public opinion knows that it is time after 50 years to settle the longest unresolved dispute in the world. I always try and finish on saying this. When we take up the cause of self-determination of Kashmiri people, we are not anti-Indian, nor are we pro-Pakistani, but we are against the occupying forces whose brutality and abuse of human rights is recorded so graphically in the book I have in front of me. We are for the right of self-determination of every people, which every other indigenous in the world how self-determination come to Kashmir. I cannot tell you when self-determination will come to Kashmir. But the lessons of history tell us time and time again that you cannot suppress by force of arms forever, and Kashmir will be free.